What's up, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of Committed. I am Pacific Northwest Lax Caller. Today, I am joined by Gunnar Stinson, an incoming senior of Graham Kapowsin High School, three-time defensive captain, and now a Adams State commit. Gunnar, what's it feel like to be committed in your junior season?
Honestly, it's pretty unreal. If I were to tell myself I was committed to D2, like my fifth grade, sixth grade season, I wouldn't have believed it because I really just picked it up originally as just like a sport to have and play with my buddies, and now I'm committed, and it's a great college, and I'm excited for it.
Well, let's talk about that fifth and sixth grade. You weren't even playing lacrosse up until then, right? You were football dedicated from like what diapers?
Yeah, I really started fourth grade, and I started really wanting to pick it up fifth and sixth grade. But yeah, started football with you ever since I was young. So
Right. Well, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I've coached this young man. I've had the pleasure between football and lacrosse on and off for several seasons and several years. So definitely have a connection with this guy and his. I mean, his father's my best friend. We go a way back, but it's not about me and our relationship. I want to talk about you and kind of give everybody a little bit of an idea of who Gunnar Stinson is, and that's why I started committed. I wanted to give everybody out there an idea of who you guys are. I see so much effort and work and training and grinding and heart that you athletes put into this game, and very few, if any, are talking about it. So I thought I have the platform, I have a unique opportunity of knowing a large amount of you athletes. So let's start talking about you. So Gunnar Stinson, because you're one of my favorite athletes, I started with you. We'll dive in a little bit further with where this last season was a tough season for you with Graham Kapowsin. How do you handle that type of adversity going through a season when you some would say you're one of the top dogs. You're highly known as one of the state's top defenders throughout Washington State, and to go into a season like Graham Kapowsin had last season, where you weren't winning every game. How do you handle that adversity?
I really just kind of handle it as taking every challenge kind of head on. We're not gonna win everything. We're now starting to really pick up. Like we had injuries throughout the season and all that, which very unfortunate. Which definitely set us back a little bit. But we still have ballers on our team, and we definitely pick it up from there. I mean, we're all just mentally there and checked in our games, and I think we had a great season for what we had with the injuries and everything. But yeah,
I think I got ahead of myself with getting into your high school season. I kind of want to go backwards a little bit. We talked about fourth and fifth grade season where you got started. What would you say really helped you gain that interest into lacrosse? Was there a certain person, or was it just the love of the game, or what was that one thing that really grabbed you and said, "Man, I really want to play that sport"?
it wasn't really just one person. It was like families, Brooke Peterson, Doug Peterson, Douglas Peterson, Colton Wadley, Dan Kent, all of the coaches that really brought me up. They really showed me the true nature of the game, and I really loved it ever since. It was just something really big that I enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, great answer. Absolutely, I remember that transition. I think you described it perfectly on how that all came about. So, with that, is there any one coach throughout your whole uh, time now? You're going into D2 lacrosse just after one more season, and trust me, brother, it's going to be short. You've had a long time. You've had a number of coaches between multiple different sports. Is there one coach that really stands out for you?
I'd say Dan Kent. He's my select coach, and he really brought me into lacrosse with Rogers my first 2 years of lacrosse. He just taught me everything. He slowed down everything, made sure I really processed the information that he gave me, and he's really made me kind of the player that I am today.
I love that guy. Yeah, Dan Kent, Washington United, and if you guys want to check him out at United Apparel, he they're doing great things over there as well. So unitedapparel.com, there's your shout out, Dan Kent. Over there at Washington United, what a great club for local youth between Bonnie Lake all the way down to as far as Olympia and probably beyond by now. They're growing tremendously over the last few years. But speaking of that, Washington United, you're headed out to Utah this weekend
That's right.
to
Yes.
go battle there. You guys were down in Irvine, California, and swept the competition down there and
Yeah.
took the championship hat home. I think is what it was. They gave you a
Yeah.
hat. It's always something. You guys, I know none of you kids get into it for the rewards, the patches or the hats or the sunglasses or any of the stuff that they come up to give out. It's definitely all about the accolades. So, what is it for you when you get a championship title like that? What is it for you that you're like, oh, I gotta get that? Is it just the title?
Yeah, it is really just the title and just kind of winning with like my brothers and everything. It's like that strong connection with the team. We've been so close for so long. It's just like that's another win on our belt.
Like you said, fourth and fifth grade, and so a lot of those kids are like you said, the Wadleys, the Kents, the Petersons, they're all playing lacrosse with you in summer ball, if I'm not mistaken, for Washington United. So what a unique group that you have there. Being able to play with kids you've been able to play with since fourth and fifth grade. I mean, that's pretty special.
Right.
And in my experience, at least, and all the education that I've done, coaches say that that's first and foremost one of the things you want in a championship team is that camaraderie and that brotherhood. And you guys definitely have that with Washington
For
United,
sure.
something special. So how you're going into college, you're transitioning from high school into D2 lacrosse down at Adams State in Colorado. Uh, what are you going to do to be able to bring that type of brotherhood and connection to Adams State?
Really, all I could really do to bring over like that connection and try to really connect with them is just bring over leadership, and I'm probably just involving myself as much as possible with the team, because I just want to be able to have that brotherhood again, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know me as a coach, that's the first thing that I preach is brotherhood and keeping you guys tight. And I'm a firm believer on whether it's win or lose on the scoreboard. If you got 30 kids thinking that they're brothers out there, then they're never felt like a loser. And you've heard me say that a number of times.
Right.
So I'm glad to see that it's something that it's instilled into you and you hold near and dear to your heart is that brotherhood. So I do have a list of questions that I had printed out. So I was just going to pick out kind of at random, but I was fidgeting with the paper too much and I heard it in the mic. So if you guys haven't picked it up by now, we're just trying to do something relaxed. I mean, we're out here in the driveway. Uh, the kid's got his car parked out here. We're just just a couple of guys having a conversation. I wanted it to be more organic than not. I wanted his answers just to be unprovoked. He doesn't have anybody here watching over him or anything like that. It's just a couple of guys having a conversation and really just explaining to everybody who doesn't know a little bit about Gunnar Stinson, which I mean, I'd recruit the kid every day. So just everybody else who's out there watching or maybe wants to know a little bit, this is a chance for you to open up, and I appreciate you doing that
Of
because
course.
not everybody's up for it. So let's have a little fun. What outside of sports, what kind of hobbies or interests are you into?
Uh, Camping for sure. Football, hiking, really all of the above. I mean, I'm always just kind of down for a good
Yeah, so you said camping. Is there any one spot you really like?
green water.
Greenwater.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
your
the
dad
spot.
talks about it all the
Yeah.
time. Okay, and then so now we can go to a serious one. So I'll try to bounce it back and forth. How about that? So you guys bear with me if you're watching or if you're listening along and you're getting frustrated. First, first one, we're gonna work out all the kinks here. So I'll watch this later and I'll go, boy, I really could have done better there. And I'll actually review your comments when you see this on YouTube, which it'll be on YouTube later. Pacific Northwest Slacks Caller, Utah at YouTube. So um, for the more serious question, um, why do you suppose you're so passionate about the game of lacrosse?
Um, I really feel like I played for so long now. There's no point in going back. And that passion has always been there since I was young. Uh, just that grind, really. I love the grind, and like fighting for spots and everything like that is just a whole different feeling when you finally begin to like get that.
So you mentioned grind, and we have talked about this before about your work ethic. I mentioned it briefly, but what does that look like for you? What's your daily routine?
Well, with sports and everything, well, when I now I'm in the football season, so and summer lacrosse, but we really do our football workouts and sprinting and everything at GK. But outside of that, I'd be doing like my own workouts and everything 5 times a week. Try to run as much as possible. I mean, all of the above. So
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, because you're definitely in shape. But so speaking of which, what's your diet plan? What's your nutrition look like? Are you trying to bulk up? Or are you just trying to maintain? Um, what are you doing there?
I'm really trying to maintain 185 right now. That's really a good spot to stay in college lacrosse, especially as either an LSM or defender. Uh, Defender probably a little bit higher, like 200 pounds, but if they need me to play that, of course I'd work up to that. But I've always been taught whatever goes in is really how your body's going to be shaped. So
So yeah, that's very good, right? Body's your temple, so you don't want to let all the negative in because then you're going to be negative. Very,
right.
very good. Your role models have taught you well, young grasshopper. So rank the top five priorities in your life.
Um, I'd say I does it have to be in order?
Top five.
Okay, top five. I'd say sports, family, friends. Um, I'd say working. I'd say that's a great one. And God.
Yeah, good job at clarifying at the beginning that they weren't in order,
Yes.
so that
Yeah.
way when mom listens to it later on, right,
Right.
she doesn't get upset with you. What do you mean, God? We're in sports first. No, good job there. Way to CYA. So let's see. Um, so you've had a lot of experiences in multiple different teams. You talked about being a dual sport athlete, and you've done that as long as I've known you. So what are some of the like real core lessons do you think you've taken away from so many years of playing sports?
I'd say being a team. I mean, it's not just one player out there. Everyone has to have their own job to really like find that touchdown or that goal. For instance, there's not just one person in the team. It's always a whole group that's got to finish the job.
Absolutely, yeah, good mentality there. So you're doing football right now. That's a lot of plays and stuff that are thrown at you. What do you do to teach yourself new plays and to memorize plays?
Just constant. We're, I mean, through practice, we're consistently going through the same plays and making sure we're remembering them. I mean, that's kind of how it is with lacrosse too. I mean, if we're gonna remember our defensive like plays and everything, we're consistently going over it during practice. So
Absolutely. Well, and then to be a good defender on lacrosse, you have to understand a good offense as well, right? So
right,
understanding what offensive set these guys are in and what defensive set you need to be in to defend that
right.
is key. So yeah. So what would you say you do? Is it just repetition to keep that in your forefront, or are there certain keys you look for to know I need to do this? Then, like, what do
It,
you use?
it's really just you. Once you see it, it's just memorized at that point. You see it and you just go. So
See it and you just go. So you'd say it was instinctual.
right,
So like it's been worked ingrained into you so much to where your movement on the turf is instinctual.
right.
All right. Well, nothing wrong with that. I ain't mad at you. Uh, so you've got a great public image, right? So at least from the outside looking in, you're very prevalent on social media. You're involved in your church. You're involved in your community. You're working to get a job, if not two jobs, right now during the summertime, and juggling spring football and select lacrosse. So you're a very busy guy. Some would say burning the candles at both ends, but you're young. This is the time to do that. So, how important would you say it is to an athlete to have a good public image?
I'd say it's great because I feel like if you were to join like a new team, for instance, like you don't want them to have such a bad image on you. Like you just want to be known as really just the nice guy and able to be approached.
Yeah, and then you show them the dog later
That's right.
on. All
Yeah.
right, all right. As long as the dog's in there,
Right.
yeah. All right, perfect. What do you look for in a great coach?
Right. Consistency. And really able to like ingrain. like knowledge, their knowledge into you. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Somebody who their message is easy to adhere to or to resonate with.
right.
Somebody who is not coachable, but has the ability to coach on a level to where your athletes can relate to you. And that's been a transition for me in my coaching experience and why I've kind of moved myself out of it more or less. I'm still around to coach and help out here and there, as you well know, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my words aren't hitting as hard as some of the younger coaches, and I feel like that athletes nowadays are more apt to listen to the younger coach because they feel like they're in the same fight. Is that fair?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you think
yeah.
that's the
I
same thing?
agree. Yeah.
Do you think like as if you've got younger coaches out there and an older coach out there, you're more apt to take the younger coach seriously?
He, I don't know. It really depends on how they are.
I set you up for that
You
one,
did
buddy.
set me up right there.
I had to. I can't give you all strikes,
Right,
but
right. No, really depends on, I mean, their public image. I mean, I really feel like how the community reacts to people is just their public image.
how they carry themselves,
Right.
how they're respected within the community by other players, stuff
Yes.
like that. Absolutely, yeah. And that's the same for you, right? So I'm sure Adams is doing their homework and or has done their homework, and they wanted to know what type of kid you are. I bet they're going, man, I wish this interview was out before, but they know what a great kid you are. I just want everybody else to. And there's a long list of committed athletes, not only in your age group, but the 2025s as well that are moving on and have moved on. And there's just a considerable amount of talent and effort being applied here in the Pacific Northwest, and in my opinion, not enough people talking about it. So here we are talking about Gunnar Stinson. Gunnar, you wear the number 21 in football, and I know why that is. It's the number that your pops wore in
Hmm.
semi-pro when he played for the Puyallup Kings. But number 3 is the number that you've worn in lacrosse for a long, long time. What's the significance of number 3?
Um, so when I switched over to lacrosse, 21 was actually taken when I did play with Rogers originally. And I was a big fan of the Seahawks. We all know who number 3 is, Russell Wilson at the time,
All right.
and it's just stayed with me ever since.
Well, and I to be fair, Russell Wilson was a well and is a great mentor to a lot of kids, and he was very involved in the Pacific Northwest. Everybody thought that Russell was the man when he came to town, and I only wish good things for Russell. I highly doubt he's going to watch this, but if by chance he does, hey, love you, Russ. Always did. Thanks for giving us uh, so many great years of football. But we are predominantly a lacrosse channel, and we
That's
talk
right.
about lacrosse in the Pacific Northwest. So you've been able to train with some really really talented and professional people. You got Colin Squires over at South Sound and Ross Scott and a handful of different people. Back in the day, you were one of the unique talents that was selected to go to the Rabel overnight camp on the East Coast. Now that was a big deal. What did that camp do for you?
Man, seeing such a big image like Paul Rabel, right? I mean,
The
he
goat.
was he's the goat, right? I really took in everything they did. They gave us nutrition plans. They taught us nutrition. I mean, they got us out of our own bubbles, like hanging out with the kids around us, and it was just a whole different experience. They gave us notebooks, so we write down every piece of knowledge we got, and I really learned from that in great ways because I can always just go over it again. Um, and just learn. I was such I'd say I was held back in lacrosse knowledge until I went to that camp. I learned almost a lot of skills from there. I mean, it was a
Sorry,
great guy.
sorry about that. I live close to the main road, and we are just a couple of guys hanging out in the driveway. So if the car was loud for you, I apologize. But no, that's outstanding. So it sounds like you had a lot of takeaways from the Rabel camp, and I mean, how could you not? What of those things that you took away do you still implement today? Because I mean, how long ago was that?
That uh, I don't know, like 4 years ago,
4 or 5
3
years ago.
yeah,
I mean,
four or
long
five.
enough. What? So all those good habits and all those lessons that you're able to grab, what do you still do as in your routine?
Um, watch YouTube. watch
Yeah.
players on YouTube. He really did teach us that. He's make sure you're watching college ball, pro ball. I
Oh yeah.
mean, even I per preference is people that are about to commit for college.
Yeah.
Their high school seniors highlights, beautiful. I love watching that because that's when they're most free. So
I agree with you. And I've always thought that way about college football. I really feel like that's where the heart really transitions from I love this game to I love this job. And and while some people really love their jobs and they perform, I just feel like at the college level, there's a lot more who love the game.
right.
But that's just my opinion, just a regular old Joe from Tacoma. Um, so I had a question in my head already, and I just moved past it. So you've played with a great deal of great athletes, some that have moved on to D1 and D2. Um, is there any one athlete that has sort of mentored you throughout your time in lacrosse?
Well, he didn't actually go to play lacrosse. I would say Jonas Wall. I mean, he's a dog. Um, he really just kind of showed me like, hey, like try this new check, try this, try this, try this, and kind of just try to pick it up a little bit, you know. And he's straight body. I mean, he'll body anyone. So he really just taught me to kind of be more physical in the sport of lacrosse.
He just graduated from Eastern Oregon University, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Jonas, a great influence on a lot of the kids in your class through Douglas Peterson and the
Mm-hmm.
Peterson family. Just again another great family for the Graham Kapowsin community, um, all the way around between uh, Brooks' work within the community and Douglas Senior and yeah, or excuse me, junior, because Dougie's the third. So I'll get my stuff right sooner or later. If I don't have a fact sheet in front of me, and if we're relying on this old steel trap, it's a little rusty nowadays. But um, so you've been on a lot of teams as well. We talked about how players and how coaches have impacted you. Um, what team or what specifically from a team has made you a better player?
I'd say United.
Yeah.
Washington United, yeah. We've had such. We went from South Sound originally all the way over to United and created a new club. And I mean, we always have to work hard every practice. I mean, every practice is feels like a game. Um, and I mean, we're always just working hard. So no matter what, we're getting better every practice.
Working hard. So, speaking of which, and we're talking about your work ethic and all of that stuff, how do you manage your athletic responsibilities outside of recreational and non-recreational responsibilities
Uh,
or activities?
I mean, going on runs, working out. I mean, stuff like that. Just staying consistent with it.
Yeah, staying consistent. Uh, let's talk about your worst ever performance.
Oh,
I know it stick with you. What would you say?
oh man.
What's your most memorable? Oh man, I should have done better. Or what's that one that they do on ESPN? Come on, man.
um, I'd say this year during Camus, not my best game. I really just kind of was slacking a little bit. Um, Definitely was a learning experience too. So,
Why? What happened?
uh, I was consistently getting beat. I mean, not following hips, simple things like bodying, or I was just following stick, stuff like that. So like, it was a learning experience. The next game definitely learned from my mistakes and just changed up my game.
What do you mean by following stick?
Um, so when you're running with someone, you're just only going for stick, and instead of bodying and stuff like that, playing like get them out of that crease area or that the green grass, if that makes sense. If you just kind of go off stick the whole time, they're gonna beat you at some point. So
No, good. I saw a need and I had to throw it in there.
yeah,
Man, we're getting through them. You're doing really good, buddy. I don't know where we are on time. Um, talked about that. We talked about camping. Who's your greatest influence altogether? And I know we talked about Dan Kent and how super cool that guy is. But as far as like actual influences on you and the rest of your being a man and athlete or whatever, who's your greatest influence?
Definitely my parents. They've got me through the thick and thin.
Oh,
Um, I mean, they're just the hardest workers I know. Um,
that's what's
they've
up.
been through the thick of thin, and they've taught me all the lessons they've ever learned. So I'm really just grateful for them.
Absolutely. So what do you do to show that gratefulness? How do you I mean you're a busy guy. You're working, trying to manage two jobs, two sports, all that stuff. How do you find time for mom and dad?
Uh, the weekends, I really kind of get 2 days with them. Throughout the week, I'm always kind of busy either with jobs or sports, and school during that point of the year. But yeah, mainly weekends, I really get to kind of sit down and spend time with them, talk to them about how their weeks and everything. And yeah, and the best way I can really show that love for them is trying my hardest on the field. I mean, they work their butt off for me to be able to play. So.
Absolutely, well put. And I've actually interviewed professionals that said exactly that. That was one of their greatest joys in being able to play the game of lacrosse is being able to look up in the stands and see those that helped them get there cheering for them. So it's great that you've got your head screwed on like that. I know for a fact that both your folks are extremely hard workers and have invested a ton into you. But that's kind of the nature of the beast when your kid is showing the results like you do too. So you mentioned earlier how you get out what you put in, and I believe you're a testament to that as well. Your folks have not only led by example, but they've invested a great deal into you, and you've repaid them by, like you said, playing well on the field. So we talked about one of your most horrible moments, and you mentioned your play with a little lack of steam down in Camas this last season. What would you say was your best?
Ooh, I'd say Sandstorm when we had our Ninja Turtle
When you
jerseys.
broke the internet on the lacrosse network,
Yep.
that was pretty sweet, dude. That was all. I was like, is that Gunner? That is Gunner? That was so cool, dude. I wish I could have been at that game because man, that was insane. That was really cool. Yeah, I was hoping that's the one you were gonna say
Yeah.
because that was a highlighted moment for me. I bragged about you everywhere, bro. I was showing everybody that clip. So, yeah, no, that was a good one. Um, we're getting close to wrapping it up. I've already got my hands full with gonna figure out how to edit and do all that stuff with this, but so we're gonna end this the way I end every interview, but just a little bit different because you obviously don't have an opponent to honor the game because I'd be getting that, uh, but it's the same question I asked Ross Scott, Colin Squires, and Ajax Zapatillo. What does honoring the game mean to you?
I'd say art in the game is really seeing the individual that works very hard for their reputation, and they're on that grind for lacrosse too. So they like that their work shows off for them.
Yeah, so they bring their reputation out to the field with them, and it's a good one, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely, well said. I can respect that absolutely. We honor not only the game, but the roots of the game and its indigenous, uh, where it came from, origins. For lack of better words. Again, I don't have the script in front of me. If I did, I'd be giving out a little bit clearer love on that one. But check out Pacific Northwest Lax Collar on Instagram and follow on YouTube for more interviews and podcasts, whatever you want to call this thing. I've got some more interviews lined up in the future. Gunner, I appreciate you for being here. I wish you nothing but uh, but the best of luck and prosperity in the future. And I can't wait to call your games in football up in the booth and follow along here in lacrosse and see how you guys are doing with Washington United. And of course, I'll be dressed in that forest green, rooting
Oh
you on
yeah.
down there at Adams State, right alongside your pops. Saying "Go Gunny Go" because
Oh
I'm the
yeah.
only one who can call you that besides your mama. So hey, so Gunner, thanks again. I love you, bud. Appreciate you guys all for tuning in and find. Oh yeah, we got to find you. What's your at on so they can find you?
at Gunwae GUNWAE_21.
Yeah, so go out, give the kid a follow. You guys check him out. Keep him on your radar. He's definitely going to be one to watch. If we don't see him now, we're going to be seeing him later doing the dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun on ESPN. Mark my words, this kid's going to go far. Gunnar Stinson, check him out. Cool.
Isn't it Gunwa 03?
It's still going?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.